See, next topic, big controversy at the end of the week. It was about CNC talents. Should I quickly remind you how the controversy started? The streamer Ultia, whom I don't particularly support and have nothing against or for, well, listen to what she said during a live stream. I'm a jury member for the CNC, and then, when you unpack it, she said, yeah, well, if a friend of mine wants to, go ahead, take the CNC money. If I see something I consider far right, I'll block it, that's all. Her value comes from her importance, not her being alone. Still, people talked. What do you mean, favoritism at the CNC talents?
What? That's the opposite.
Hands behind the back?
That's the opposite of what she's supposed to sign in the first place. So,
well, first of all, she's not the brightest of the bunch to say that. So right after that, there was a huge controversy. Yeah. And at the end of the day, yeah, she was removed from the committee. That's true. So, big topic, legitimacy. Well, there are several issues. There's the legitimacy of CNC talents existing. There's also impartiality. And above all, once the money's given, is it really given to things that need it? Yeah. So that's 3 topics, but if you want, you've studied the subject a bit.
Well, by studying, that's kind of the topic. First of all, you should know that CNC talent no longer exists.
All right. First of all, that's proof.
It no longer exists. It was renamed.
It's an aid fund.
Different types of aid. What was it called again? We said it's the Creation Support Fund for Social Media Platforms. Okay, that's a longer name, yeah. So people won't say that anymore. They'll just...
The way it works is still more or less the same?
Yeah, the way it works is more or less the same. Before you had the aid for...
Channel aid and the project aid.
The project aid, and now you have early stage channel support of the channel, yeah? For individuals, all right? Only, okay. Then you have the aid, what was it again? Because the aid, I don't really remember the thing. It was the early stage support. So that's for individuals who have at least 10,000 subscribers, all right? Okay. You have the development aid for people who have at least 25,000 subscribers, so to develop the channel, all right? Or who have already received aid before.
What's the difference between emergence and development? Does that mean anything to you?
Well, it's, I'm telling you, it starts at 25,000 subscribers, all right?
Or they changed the name, but not yet.
So you've already emerged, which is why you can get help, or could have gotten it earlier. Then you develop and get production support for big productions, about 50,000 subscribers, I think. Operation support is for around 100,000 subscribers, if I'm correct. And then you have support for collective initiatives. So if you ever do something like masterclasses or things like that, that's it. All right. Collective. You have several types of support like that. All right. And it seems more structured, which we'll come back to later regarding the problem with how things were before. The thing is, you don't get all the money at once. Okay? You'll get a part of it, and then you have to provide invoices to get the rest. So the emergence aid is for individuals, and everything else is for legal entities, meaning companies.
So production companies, basically.
Production companies, basically companies.
Having a production company at 50,000 subscribers takes real effort.
No, so careful. It's that you're already careful, the beneficiary. Yeah.
It's not necessarily... No, that's it.
There's the beneficiary, and then there's the talent. The talent must have either 50,000 or 25,000 subscribers. 25,000 is for support, not emergence. The other is for development. And the production company is the one that benefits because it's the one that will carry out the project.
All right.
The CNC is interesting because we have 2 slightly different opinions.
Go ahead, just a little bit.
You're actually more opposed to the CNC.
Basically, yeah.
You see, I'm not against the CNC. I'm against the CNC talent. All right?
No, but for me, the CNC, well, I can understand the point of the CNC for cinema because it's a real industry. Like, imagine it really helps the economy a bit. But YouTube, how does that help the economy, me?
As for the CNC, I can see the point. It's really to make France shine abroad. But for me, it should mainly be limited to that. The point is that France gets the cinema industry involved to make it shine abroad. Also to show that France has something to say compared to the big American blockbusters, compared to Bollywood. Those who watch Indian movies, yeah, there's no competition. But anyway, it's about making it shine, yeah. CNC Talents is made to fund YouTubers, streamers, stuff like that. There's no international influence with a French YouTuber. Because anyway, their niche will stay in France. Maybe what I'm saying is stupid, huh? No, but I agree. Maybe what I'm saying is stupid. But I just don't see the point, especially for giving out amounts that are pretty small, let's say. Not small for the creators, because too many...
But compared to what the CNC gives?
CSD gives out production amounts. The CNC, that's a budget. It's for the year 2026 or 2025, I don't remember. The budget is 850 million euros. Last year, the year before, it was 1 billion won. The CNC Talents budget was increased from 2 million to 3 million. You see, it's a film from, well, the total CNC. So that's really the thing. You feel like it exists just to exist, just because cinema is entitled to it. And well, the emerging platforms, they need to have the right too. You see, that's kind of what was being said, actually. It's like, why do they have the right and not the others?
Yes, but in that sense, I understand. After that, for me, in this story, I don't blame those who take advantage of the system. It's just that I don't see the point of...
I think we can kind of blame, well, not blame, but do people. So
It depends on what topic we're talking about. There are several topics. I say there are at least 3 problems. There's the problem. There you go, point by point. What's the first problem?
the first problem that you mentioned,
Was that it exists?
that it exists. That's kind of what I'm saying. Yes, exactly. I agree that it exists. It's to promote cinema,
CNC is cinema.
to promote it. Also, people who say that, you hear it in finance.
No, that's nonsense.
Careful, there are 2 things. There's something to consider. When it comes to taxes collected in France, there's a principle. It's the principle that tax revenue is not earmarked. That means basically all taxes are put into a common pool, and then the government makes a budget and decides how it's distributed among different areas. There are a few exceptions.
Everything goes into retirement.
A big part of the year.
Keep it in the benefits. And your mother, there is...
There are a few exceptions to that thing, for the environment, for all that, and for the CNC. The CNC?
It's a tax on cinema that goes back into cinema. That's it. Well, not just cinema.
Not just cinema, it's the movie tickets we pay for. Then there are streaming platforms too, so everyone pays, though not through your streaming subscription. It's them, they have obligations to finance or invest in cinema, all right? It's not no matter what you pay, your subscription isn't going to cost more, all right? Your subscription won't be cheaper in Germany or elsewhere, because there's no such support there, if you will, all right? You see, it's not, that's it. And there's the cinema ticket, and there's another thing, the TV channels. Those TV channels that also contribute a portion of their revenue. So people who say it funds itself, it doesn't fund itself. These are still taxes allocated to that. So actually, if there is less revenue...
But there are also internet subscriptions.
The TV channels.
There are internet subscriptions too.
The TV channels are fine, but I'm not sure though.
I saw there was streaming channels and an internet subscription.
I don't think so. There are 3. Right, it's the internet subscriptions. It's related to the TV channel. Right, it's about creating property on the internet.
Well, because that's what you use to stream. So you pay...
Not sure.
No, maybe not. Maybe we'll do
Fact checking afterwards. Fact checking. So what was I saying? I don't remember. What was I saying? I saw you.
You were explaining how it's financed. You were saying that it has to be self-financed, but actually it's not. It's
not really self-financing. It's just a tax that's allocated. It's still a tax, yes, if you want. It's just that tomorrow, if they want, they can say, okay, it stops being allocated. It's no longer an earmarked tax, but a non-earmarked tax. Well, it goes into the general fund, and we distribute it as we want, okay? And we can lower the budget, because it's still a tax. So it's not self-financing. It's not the industry that... because self-financing, what does that even mean, you know? What is it? I don't know.
Does that mean the money keeps coming back, or what? Is that it?
It doesn't mean anything if you want. So it's not self-financed. It's still public money that we pay. Yes, in a different way. Because if tomorrow there are no more streaming services, if people stop going to the movies, there will be no more money for the CNC. So that's it for the CNC. Yes. We agree? So that's self-financing. And I don't even remember why I was saying that.
It's a problem. It's whether it even has any legitimacy to exist, the thing about existing. But it was for the CNC, cinema. I can understand having a film industry. Because cinema, once again, it can help me abroad since it's a real industry. Even the regional support for making films, it makes sense. Like if you want to shoot your film in Brest, it's to provide regional support. In the end, it's just tax credits, stuff like that. It's not real money. Yes.
It's possible.
When a filmmaker shoots in Brest, 100 to 150 people come for the shoot, filling hotels, keeping restaurants and taxis busy, and helping the local economy. I get that, but a YouTuber in his room, let's be honest, even the cultural content is just face cam over archive footage. We shouldn't treat people like fools. Whatever the subject is, by the way, I don't even have a problem with the quality of the stuff that's produced. Honestly, I don't care. You could make Star Wars on YouTube, I couldn't care less. I'm not using public money for that. That's my point. I was talking about whether it's legitimate to give money to YouTubers, but I understand the other side too. Because if you say it's audiovisual creation and all the other audiovisual fields are entitled to support, why not YouTubers too, right?
Me, I still didn't know.
That's what, but I get the point. That was it originally. It was, what was his name? Real Myopy. That was it.
Yep. Well, Rim.
He came up with the idea back then. I'm not sure if he was the one who actually did it. I'm not sure if it was him, but he helped come up with the idea. I commented on his video saying it would just end with friends giving each other money.
Eli Miop, who is a producer? Who is at the production house? Ness? Yeah. So Nerd Entertainment System, which is the company that gets the most support.
There you go. Chance or Scientific Reality, he was the one who was And I had said, you can find that comment. I had said, in principle, well, why not? But at the time, I was still a bit, yeah, true. It's certain the same people will keep passing benefits to each other.
Yeah. And that their name, but that's already the case for the IOC, that's clear. Their name appears on several lines because, so the beneficiary is the production company.
Yeah.
And the talent is the talent. That's it.
Yeah.
For example, Monsieur Phi, who discusses philosophy.
Yeah, that's not bad.
In the Nest Pro Day, but not only there. That's it. He also appears as Mr. Phi alone. Okay. So actually, in the lineup, there was so much help, yeah, but actually he appears in several production companies. So he gets the support several times, well, which may not be a problem.
Yes.
No, but for me, what bothers me is that, honestly, if we really want to help small creators, Darko wants to grow his channel. He's been here for a long time. He can't break through because he lacks resources. That could be true. He just doesn't have many. He submits a small CNC Talents application to promote something about Naruto and quickly gets support. You may struggle with your application since you don't know anyone. People like big history YouTubers.
Yes.
For example, Hudu Hassad, who is called Nota or something like that.
If there's a lawsuit, it's on you.
No, but I mean, no.
I'm warning you.
But I'm not saying anything silly, but I'm saying, clearly he didn't get much. He only got help once. Yes. For cooking videos. Yes. Someone who makes a net profit. Because I say plus the internet. It's free? Yes, in 6 figures. Yes. Does he really need it?
To take 30,000 euros?
30,000 euros to make cooking videos. But yes, they don't get many views. He doesn't need it.
But he's entitled to it.
Yes, but no, but so exactly.
It's just, well, it's normal for you to take advantage. You have the right. If it's a video, even if I am, it's fine. We prefer a file. Well, we wouldn't have it.
No, but just out of pure, I don't want to do, well, but me.
I'm against it.
And that's it. So we're not going to put together an application. I don't want any thank you. And we don't know how to refuse the file. Don't think that no.
No, that we're useless.
We haven't started doing it because I
was always against it. A YouTube comment proves this. I said no 10 years ago.
Some people do that. He, for instance, could have funded his life in videos without it. But clearly...
But even if Pichon is one of the first who...
I watched the videos because, well, his videos and the videos were nice, but he even forced himself to put them out because he saw that the videos weren't getting many views. That's it. And he made an explanatory video to say, well, I'm going to stop posting videos for now. I'll post them in August when there are fewer people because otherwise it's going to mess up the channel's stats. And that's also why there are going to be a lot of people who don't apply for the CMC Talent stage because usually you notice that these videos don't get many views and so it can mess up their stats. Maybe it even increases their numbers. Yeah, in this case it was so...
They'll shift the risk to public finances instead of their own channel. That's it. I'm starting a new project but don't want to use my own money, so I'll just ask for some.
Help! Yeah, because it makes you lose money in the long run. You know how YouTube works, right? Yeah. If you make videos that don't get a lot of views, it brings down your overall stats. You see, so something I was telling you earlier when we were taking a break. Earlier I was saying, well, it would be nice if these aids weren't put in place. Well, I don't know if it really works like that, but in the net profit, because you know how it works. You make a net profit at the end of the year, and you can take out some dividends depending on how much profit you made. We should take those subsidies. For example, you got 30,000 euros in subsidies. I know maybe that's already the case. If you tell me if I'm making a mistake, welcome to the office. He can tell me if I'm... But yeah, let's say you make 600,000 euros in profit, yeah? And well... From these 600,000 euros in profit that you could normally take as dividends, you subtract the subsidies, and then you can take the difference of the subsidies you received. Yes, Lou, to avoid it just being extra revenue. Yeah, because it shouldn't be extra revenue, it should really be a subsidy. Why can big YouTubers benefit from this aid? There should be a minimum number of subscribers to have, but we should set a maximum. We should cap the number of subscribers since, at a certain point, you also need to review the company's finances for revenue.
Well, yeah, that should be the basics.
Standard assistance, help from the CAF, all that, we check if people really need it. Well, yeah, we check. I qualify for some assistance, but I'm not eligible for help I don't need. There you go, basically. Well, it should be the same for this kind of assistance.
It's not essential, so I say yes only to help certain projects. If your project lacks funding, you either don't do it or fund it yourself. I don't like the idea of...
Now, if people are truly interested in the project, there are ways to get funding. Ways like Ulule, for example. Ulul campaigns, you can do Ulul campaigns to get private funding, and Ulul campaigns actually work. You see, they're books, that's all it is.
Helps me start a channel. Having a budget doesn't guarantee your channel will succeed. They're unrelated.
Well, especially budgets that aren't... Because we know that 30,000 euros might seem huge compared to amounts like that. Yeah, but that's how it is.
Are you serious about it or not?
For the development of the channel, it's not... It goes fast.
Yeah, but what's the point? I want to start my channel. Let's say I make it. I have 5,000 subscribers. They give me 30,000 bucks.
You said you need at least 10,000?
If I have 10,000 subscribers, they give me 30,000 bucks. That means my budget is 60,000 euros. Doesn't that mean I'll have 100,000 by year end? No. Because even if I create amazing things, if I talk about stamp collecting, no one cares. Yeah, so what's the legitimacy of giving money to do that? Because the problem has never been the money from your channel.
No, it's the visibility, the stuff. There are a lot of yeses.
Even today, there are people who start YouTube with crappy quality and it still works.
90% of channels can create content without money.
Well, no, us, because I was self-employed. You took yourself to develop the thing. That was the idea at the start.
That's the editing staff section, mainly for developing the team.
Basically, I handle about 90% of the YouTube views, or 3/4.
Well, there are 1 million subscribers. You got them without help, you know? And same for Darko. He recently got 100,000 subscribers.
Bravo, Dafus. Your channel, it cost you your camera?
You have even less. You have even less debt. Well, even less. And you have even less money. I mean, it hasn't brought in less money.
Mr. Fee, I have nothing against this guy, but I've already seen his videos. Yeah, what's more budget about his than mine? Nothing.
There really isn't Mr. the Philosopher, a philosophy teacher who makes videos which I like. No, but
They're good videos. It's interesting. But do you see 30,000 euros, you know, because actually in the budget, they count his salary and his editor's salary and so on. Yeah.
Yes. Because otherwise, so for me...
The problem I have. But man, the CNC in a way, as a general thing, isn't it just a way to transfer wealth? Because you're not going to make me believe that the CNC doesn't give subsidies to big companies. Still, I'm sure that if you look at the majority of CNC beneficiaries, they're big production companies. There's Crunchyroll that got CNC funding. Are you kidding me or what? Crunchyroll belongs to Sony. And before or after that, it belonged to Viz Media. And now I think it belongs to Sony.
Yeah.
They can buy the CNC if they want. What is this all about? Why do they have our tax money? Because it's wealth transfer. And at the same time, they would have been stupid not to take this Crunchyroll. They have the right.
Well, yes.
That's why I say delete everything, screw your mothers.
Maybe don't delete everything. It did some good too. For example, they started helping Claire Obscure.
Claude, that's 125,000 euros. It could have been 10 million. That means without the CNC,
the day would have existed anyway.
We shouldn't treat people like fools, but they had the right.
Yeah.
They had the right to it. So they take it, it's normal. Me, I don't blame the Nodabini guys or whoever for taking their money. They have the right.
I didn't say that, you know? I didn't say you had a weapon. Yeah, I don't know. But he took it.
He took money from the CNC, but it doesn't matter who, even the other guy on Twitch live streams. Anyway.
It's public, you know? Yes, everything is public, you know?
Go ahead, you have the right to do it. It's your right. Well, take it. Me, I'm not me.
I don't agree, even though it's a right.
I agree.
The creators who are members of the jury, that's been the case since the beginning.
That's another problem entirely, that one.
It's been that way since the beginning. Yes, it's been that way since the beginning. It's always been like that. Then they're very, yes. But it's not just creators. There are also directors. And this thing about, there's a camera turning off over there, right? They have to leave the room if there's ever a case. Yes, that's it. They shouldn't serve on the panel. It's not just that they leave the room. It's that they're not qualified on the day when they shouldn't sit in. Yes, but that's messed up. Normally your jury.
It's not allowed to suggest, really.
Professor, you don't suggest cases.
That's why I say it's a transfer of wealth. Basically a mafia to me.
I don't agree. Why isn't it a truly impartial jury, or are they people from the region or from... Because actually...
You have to be judged by your peers. In general. When you judge it, when you
don't want any, but there are people who are no.
But I mean, that's why you need a few of them. It's like when you do me. I've been on an exam jury several times. I was with some teachers. There was at least me, a professional, and a jury of peers. You need to be judged by both those who know theory and those with practical experience. Because imagine you're a director, you're impartial. Well, what do you really know about how much it costs to make a YouTube video, the pros of a YouTube video compared to the pros of traditional ones? But you still need someone there theoretically to say, well, here it is. Impartiality doesn't even exist in the show business world.
But especially from the moment it's someone who, well, it's judged by your peers. The rule here, it's not even, well, it's not impartial. So, I mean, it's almost certain, you know.
You don't know them just because they're peers. But he talked about it at the time. He mentioned it in one of his videos. Cyprian, you didn't need funding when you asked for it. I like you, but it wasn't necessary. If he's asking for funding, he can't be on the board. So there's a substitute who replaces him. It's his buddy who replaces him, yeah.
Yeah, no, but it's crazy. That's what's insane.
Maybe that's true now, but in the early years, there was definitely some scheming. It's not normal, right? Yeah. Also, if Cyprian too, I'm sorry, he got it's Sorgisby, so he had a lawsuit. He had a lawsuit with Sorgisby. He sits on the board to give support to Talon Web, the company he himself sold to Webadia 6 months earlier, where he took I don't know how many millions.
Yes, yes.
Yes, it's about not treating people like fools. They have the right and are entitled to the money, so they take it. For years, juries have commonly recognized that regulars have this right.
And they take it, but that's another topic.
Again. But personally, I don't even like the principle of the CNC because I'm still convinced that the ones who benefit the most are the ones who need it the least. It's just a wealth transfer. Stop pretending it's there to get crappy emerging projects off the ground. Major producers in France already benefit from the CNC and don't need it.
I have a question about that. Like, the CNC thing, it's subsidies. Is there also an equivalent, but where it's like a loan, you know? No.
There isn't any. Maybe there's an equivalent, but I'm not sure. Either way, those subsidies, those talents aren't loans.
Yeah, okay, actually, the solution might be to have a loan because taking everything away. If the thing,
It's that, yes, he could. I mean, the money,
we give it to people, but it only covers their salary, even though they need more than that.
you see,
Well, might as well make it some kind of loan. That way, you see, they're forced to have a...
return on, yes, he could. He could too.
And then there's also the problem that for some people it becomes a real gravy train. We pay the aid every year.
That's actually the production companies that get aid every year. It's the same, but it's true that it can become a steady income for the production companies, especially the production companies that were really heavily involved in this. There you go.
At some point it becomes a steady income, and once it becomes a steady income, you're a parasite. So there you go. But anyway, but even the film industry and the YouTube scene, they're becoming, how should I put it, almost like castes. So it's you, it's us, the proletarians. I don't know if we're proletarians, but they take money from people who work while they do stupid shit, and they just pass it around among themselves.
Yeah.
Basically, that's it.
And there's another problem we haven't brought up yet, which is the possibility, well, I don't know if it's still possible with the new fund that was created after CNC Talents was scrapped. It's something that France Television isn't allowed to do, which is to include product placements while also receiving CNC Talents funding. Because in addition to being funded by CNC Talents, your video is already funded by CNC Talents, you also have the right to include a good product placement for Oli Energy or Norepe. I thought it was for...
Moving beyond a capitalist mindset to create projects.
And that's what's crazy. It's that ads were removed during the Sarkozy era. Yeah. What nonsense. And on top of that, do you know why it was removed? Go ahead. Well, it was removed because you have to look at it like you see the advertising agency. So the total revenue, total from advertising. Yeah. You see it like a cake. All right. Sarkozy, he had a lot of friends. Bouygues,
Yeah, okay.
all that stuff. He also knew the boss of M6 well. Well, since France Television was no longer in the advertising game, it's more, now there's more room for the others. No, but there you go. It was about that. Then he did that tour. Yeah, it's because there's no more advertising. Yeah, it's not about advertising. He doesn't want to. Whereas if they had continued, well, there would have been more money and there would have been fewer taxes then. Yes. But as a result, since France Television isn't allowed to run ads because they're funded by public money, why do creators who get support from CNC Talents or other public funding have the right to include product placements? It breaks the idea of independence. Once you're really just funded by product placements, you're not really independent. That's another topic, though.
No, you're independent because it's the market.
Yeah, but you don't see it.
You sell your space based on what you want.
You can't be funded by something public and at the same time do private product placements.
There you go. But for me, it's about independence. Independence, yes. If one person like the ANPEP doesn't want to fund me anymore, then they just stop funding me. You see what I mean? If they work with us, it's because they have an interest, so they benefit from it. Subsidies guarantee you'll lose out. You see what I mean, right?
We're talking about manga, so that's a different topic. Product placements. We're talking about manga, so that's still okay. Journalists doing product placements, I'm less in favor of that. That's it. First of all, we'll talk about it with everything that is. And me?
Anyway, all this to say that for me, I don't see the point of this thing existing in the first place. Especially since it doesn't help everyone. Either make it benefit all or not at all. For comic book artists, for example, it doesn't exist. There's not me, I'd like to make a comic about so-and-so. No, well, yes, you can get some help from the region, but why should the state? Because...
Then it's not the state, then.
It's kind of the state.
No, it's state money.
It's for the Ministry of Agriculture.
Yes, but that's not it at all. So that's the thing. I don't agree with self-financing. Yeah, but I also don't agree with saying it's state money.
It's not state money.
It's not state money. Well, it's not state money. It's taxes that are collected to finance this, so it's not really state money.
He takes texts, you see.
Well, it's the CNC.
Is the one that takes the texts?
It's the CNC. It's oriented towards the CNC. Yeah, but actually, it's not the budget, if you want. If tomorrow we want to cut that, it won't change the state's finances at all.
They'll just add the tax elsewhere. No.
It won't change anything.
Yes, for the state's finances, but for the CNC's finances, no. If tomorrow...
No one goes to the movies anymore. You can't tax without a reason. There must be a reason for the tax. What's that noise? There has to be a reason.
There has to be a reason.
So he could, because I agree with taxing Netflix, yeah. Taxing, they're all expatriated to Dublin, yeah, to avoid paying taxes. So it's normal that they should contribute in some way, yes, yes. So it's true that these platforms, you could still tax them and put that into the common pool.
Afterwards, they're required to put it into French series.
That's it. They're required to. That's why we have French series on Netflix, on those kinds of platforms. But that's not going to change. If you get rid of the CNC tomorrow, it's already a minority share. It's 840 million a year compared to the state budget, compared to the debt. It's like school supplies if you want. It's not, yes, yes. So it's not going to change much. And it's not going to lower the price of subscriptions. It's not going to lower the price of movie tickets. Le cinéma?
Yes, but that's not why I want it to stop.
But, I mean, it's not going to change much. That's how it works. Well, the idea itself isn't bad, at least for the CNC. It's just that maybe it needs to be more controlled and that
it should be more transparent and that we're sure there's some integrity behind it. Because for me, you won't change my mind. As long as I don't see things with my own eyes, for me, it's just guys passing money between themselves.
Yes.
With more control, project follow-up is needed. For now, everything is fine, but I believe in the first years there.
Is follow-up on the projects, but it's easily, if you want, bypassed. I mean, it's not very hard to get around. You have to prove that, well, you need invoices. You need invoices. How do you finance a production company? A production company. Imagine you have to finance a project for the talent. Well, he does it himself. Yes.
But he puts in the salary.
He creates the invoices himself. Your invoice is financed with talent. Talent will, there you go, you finance, they pay the salaries. It's very easy. He's the one who makes the difference. Yes, when I watch the videos, really, I've watched several videos. It's those talents. There was one that was good. It was Stupide Économique, yes, which is a channel. If you check it out, you'll know. They talk about economics. They were one of the first to benefit from CNC Talent because they weren't getting paid. Yes, that's the desire.
We're lucky to have the subsidies.
And they didn't do, well, not only that, they were able to. They got it only once. Yes, they got it only once. They got it only once. And that allowed them to keep the channel going for a year. And they refused product placements because since they talk about economics,
they don't do product placements?
But they don't do product placements because sometimes they criticize the way things are done, brands, advertising. So it's very logical, which is very logical on their part. Others who call themselves journalists or who do journalism and do product placements like Boursorama Bank or what's it called, Trade Republic. We agree for yes, well, it's less. How can you criticize the banking system if you do? So they had this announcement. It allowed, and they were transparent because every year they publish their financial statements.
Yeah.
On a drive. And you can look at their financial statements. Yeah. And you see that the share of subsidies the first year they got it was significant. And it allowed them to pay their salaries, their minimum wage. They pay themselves the minimum wage. And to keep the chain going. And now they managed to do it. I don't know how. It's mostly through donations, I think. It's Type E, I believe, that funds them. Yeah.
But even me, because since I tweeted about it, they tried to hype me up. Obviously, I was taking shots at everyone. But anyway, the whole thing about, but there are quality channels that can't get funding. But there are 1,001 ways on YouTube, well, on the internet, to fund yourself without having to sell out for money. Well,
there's Tipeee.
I'm sorry, but I think it's much cleaner to sell yourself to a brand than to sell yourself to the government. I'm sorry. No, it's not the government that's aiming. Yeah, no, actually, it's the same thing. So there are people you don't know who dislike you and will refuse to give you the money.
I'd rather give it to my buddy so he can make his crappy vlogs. It's even worse, really. Give it to my buddy.
It's a clique.
Who is it? You come with your project. How many chances do you have? But for that, you'd really need someone to do a big investigation, someone who could really infiltrate the thing. You see? But there are
some who didn't get their thing. It's because we didn't like their face.
Yes.
Sure. How many got it just for being friends? We checked. Some channels with only 1,000 subscribers got 35 grand or something like that.
Because yes.
It's Non's company.
No, I disagree. Usually talent should determine the number of subscribers. Yeah, it's the talent. We've seen it.
Things have changed since then. We've seen situations with no subscribers or activity, but if you look closer, some odd things still show up.
Yeah.
What was my point over there? I lost my
My train of thought.
Well, anyway, I think it's not necessary. I think there isn't a single, absolutely no creator on the internet who needs a subsidy to do what they have to do.
Me, I'm not against it, in any case.
If it's subsidized, well, I don't want no public aid. I don't see why it should be in France.
No, the idea. I'm not for that thing.
No, but that's kind of you.
No, but deep down, the idea is I wouldn't be against some help for emerging channels if there's really a real possibility that the channel will take off, and as a result, it could bring in money, it could bring in taxes.
Yes.
As long as certain conditions apply. That if the person ever makes it big, if she makes it big, that she doesn't run off to Dubai, for example.
Even if it can't necessarily be obvious. Well,
In your opinion, when you go to ENA, for example, you go to ENA, so you do the
public schools, civil servants from public schools. Yes.
you have to work for a certain number of years for the state, and otherwise you resign and you have to pay back what the state paid you. All right, because that's not how you got opportunities from the state through state aid.
Because there, you don't have any creative freedom.
It's for a certain number of years. Yeah.
When you spend a few years as a civil servant.
But no, not a civil servant. I mean, but the state. France charges for aid to benefit people who are French. Or there you go, on French territory. It's not for you to go build your thing and then leave afterward. You must have some, but there are...
How many viewers are leaving for Dubai? That's not the issue with being in Dubai.
No, I'm saying Dubai, yes, but it's just an example. I see what you're saying, just not for the conditions. Not for the conditions so that if it comes up, there won't be any escape if you want. It's really that we're not just here to take the money and leave.
For me, it should be a one-shot. If it exists, it's a one-shot.
That's true, but there's your startup grant.
Once you choose, whether for an emergency or a project, you handle it yourself. Except there are people who ask for help every year to do crappy streams. Even if they're good, I don't care. I mean, I have 1 million subscribers, I get 100,000, 200,000 views per video. Basically, I don't do it. We managed to pay 4 guys, rent a place, get equipment, all that. How come guys who have 6 times what we have need to ask for 50,000 euros? That's what...
I was saying earlier, it's that they don't need it.
They don't need it.
That's the problem.
They don't need it. So I say in the end, honestly, YouTube is viable. Today, if you have 100,000 subscribers, you make 1 video a week, you get about 50,000 views, you can make more money than a regular job. Yeah. Not to mention sponsorship for stuff and other cool deals.
And people who have millions of subscribers...
They don't need it.
Shouldn't even. 1 million subscribers and...
He should have a seat since they have legitimacy.
You should file for bankruptcy as a legal entity. Maybe that's the case with the new thing, but I haven't looked into it yet. But you should submit your financial statements, you see your net income, and based on that, it's whether you can get help or not. Because it's not possible to have hundreds of thousands of euros in net income, because with YouTube, that can happen. The expenses are still pretty low. Once you've paid for your premises, once you've paid for everything, once you've paid your team, we are freelancers. We're not freelancers, we're employees, so that's more expensive, but often they're freelancers. So once you've paid for all that, your net income is still significant. You don't need extra help to make your videos. That's it.
And especially for me, YouTube, plus it's not like cinema. Cinema is complicated because you need theaters to show the films. You need all sorts of things, so it requires a lot. But YouTube is the basic thing that doesn't require anything. There's KB Lame, you know, the guy who doesn't talk. He made a phone, he became a billionaire, and he doesn't go around asking for help or asking for things from people.
Just so you know, the shows that ask for money on YouTube, guys, are big enough to pay for themselves.
And besides, they're sponsored. Nowadays, there's not a single stream where, like, they're doing a quiz show between streamers without having tons of sponsors. We know some details about the sponsors' numbers. They're getting more than $50,000.
For the big YouTubers...
For the big YouTubers and big streamers. Streamers, it's even more expensive than YouTube.
It's not a specific number, you know.
Maybe not exactly a number, though, almost.
It's the next one, at least quite a few times. Chinzo, hey there. Nico, huh? It's almost... You're
among the top 10 streamers? Yeah, when you stream, there's Joueur du Grenier, Antoine Daniel. Well, yeah, Antoine Daniel. I don't know.
Which it's getting close to 6 figures.
You get a sponsorship, Oli or whoever, and you think they'll just give you $10,000. No.
That's it. That's why. More and more. About 80,000. And often...
You have several sponsors. Because you'll have Oli, you'll have the gaming equipment, stuff from Logitech or whatever. But these are things that are profitable even before they hit start streaming, right? They don't need to take CNC funding.
The example of Gotaga, whose every stream is sponsored by Red Bull, and on top of that, he's not sponsored.
So we need to stop. We need to stop. It's supposed to help small creators. Which small creator has emerged thanks to the CNC? Do you know any? No? Well, I don't know any. That doesn't mean they don't exist, but I don't know any. If your channel needs subsidies to survive, maybe it's because no one is watching, and perhaps it shouldn't exist. Yeah. But they're all friends. You didn't get it.
it seems to me that he no, but it's after that they became buddies, I think. But it seems to me that the CNC really helped him out in this case if he was going to places, etc.
Yeah, he got the funding for his videos where he was going abroad all over the place.
Videos. So much that it helps him.
Because, yeah, interesting videos, huh? It was Maxime Beau who made them about the Curiosity trucks, I think.
Yeah, and so yes,
But I'm not saying that, But yes, he had it too. But once again,
you can make the best video in the world. I don't give a damn. Why? Because I should partly pay for your video. If I want to pay for your video, well, you let me choose to pay. You see what I mean? Yeah.
well, especially since there are a lot of platforms. There's Patreon, there's TP, there's Ulule. Now you can fund your channel through Ulule, but not just, yes,
Yeah, like a buddy. That's it.
like a patriot. You have a lot, at least.
The audience decides what to fund, giving you real independence. You're only dependent on them. That's how YouTube should work. The audience chooses what succeeds. We don't care if it's good or not. That's not the point. It's because, yeah, but wait, it's a really interesting thing. You get 300 views, nobody cares. Why should we give you money so you can keep doing it?
This
Thing? It's not my job to pay for your hobby, asshole, but I'm a bit harsh. If my channel stops working tomorrow, I won't ask, hey, subsidize me, I only get 3 views. Yeah. What's my legitimacy to receive money? Just because I like talking about manga, does that give me the right to something? Well, no. Is what I'm saying stupid or not?
I wasn't aware of the CNC or what it involved.
You heard me talk about it in the office when I was complaining about them.
Sometimes I'd hear you talk about it.
Yeah.
I only heard about it after I started working here.
We're very critical.
But no, for me, I heard about it, so I discovered everything with you.
But make a report, huh, Marco? So,
I'm still discovering things, including the podcast. So since Peter, I've been listening to Unproducer.
I'm discovering for his channel, and now,
I didn't know any of this even a year ago.
do you think it's normal?
Many people probably aren't aware of it.
Yeah, well, my mom, it really...
It gets people talking because now it's on Twitter. Your colleagues, they're talking about it, especially the YouTubers.
There are many funding options. We receive YouTube royalties.
As an individual,
As an individual,
as a legal entity.
we need to stop the nonsense about there being no funding to make my video about what? About 3 stupid topics.
What really gets me,
Who even cares about 4th century pottery?
what really shocks me anyway is this. For me, it's those big YouTubers who post hundreds of millions of euros in profits, who go to Japan every 6 months.
Yeah, I'm depressed. I'm going to take a trip to Japan, fighting my way through.
Who have huge amounts of money and then go and ask for assistance because they're entitled to it. And then on top of that, they lecture you because some people leave. So I lecture people who leave for other places, to DZ or wherever. I lecture them, but I don't have any holdings,
Not yet.
No, but I mean, I don't use tax havens, but at the same time, I optimize. I mean, I don't have any money, but I don't have enough money to optimize my taxes. But all those people who do optimization, who ask for help, who do it even though they have the means, I'm not jealous. It's fine. They're successful. Their channel works. Stop trying to get more. Come on.
Well, it's me. I don't blame them for wanting more. I don't mind those who try and stay quiet, but if they try and complain, they're finished. I'm anti-capitalist. Yeah, by the way, did I tell you about Holly?
You see, you know it well. So the whole CNC thing, right?
I think that, well, I know it from afar. I think that
You have a reporter's side. You always research things when something comes up.
as soon as something smells fishy, I start digging.
You see, I've been creating content on the internet since about 2012, and I've never heard of the CNC. Yeah, I think there are a lot of other creators like me who have never heard of the CNC, so if they really wanted to do things right, I think I would have seen a CNC campaign banner on the internet, on YouTube, like there's a project, participate and all that. But what surprises me is that I've never seen any CNC branding.
I've never seen it. I've never heard of it.
No cultural channel. All the small cultural circles that existed before, they all had their stage stuff taken away.
I've never seen any branding or ads from people inviting you to participate in the CNC, From my point of view, it feels a bit sectarian, Like there's really a small group and it's like not everyone should know about it because otherwise I'd see ads, I'd see branding, I'd see something on X sometimes telling me, hey, we're not going to, yeah.
I think they had a project. Well, yeah, that's it. Well, because you get a lot of help.
So it's also because the budgets, are still limited. Well, limited. There's 800 million in aid per year.
It's the CNC, but it stays in the shadows.
Yes. There are 3 million, 2 million it was. It's a lot. 2 million, it's a lot, and it's not a lot either.
It's a good month of SCUSI.
So not having too many applications either. And actually, the assistance in general, I'm not sure you can really promote assistance. Well, I don't promote assistance.
Not promoting assistance, but promoting the fact that it exists.
I'm not sure you can promote assistance just by saying, hey, send your project.
There are plenty of stories about somewhat hidden funding like that, you know? There are plenty of arrangements like that.
That's the image it gives me. Like, there's money, there are things to get. Maybe I'm just not aware of it. Oh, well.
That's it. For me, that's what it is.
People need to ask for help. It's not up to the aid programs to reach out. Maybe I'm being a conspiracy theorist, maybe not. Do you remember back during the COVID times?
The number of YouTubers who did science popularization videos saying, actually, the health pass doesn't take away our freedom. It gives it back to us. Are you going to make me believe that guy did it for free? No.
No.
I don't think that's right. Do you think he did it for free? No, it's him, it's him. Do you think McFly and Carlito, when they make their song with Macron, do you think it's for free? It's not about realizing it. Maybe I'm asking myself questions. It's weird, though. It's not true. All the YouTubers and stuff. Guys, did you see my face when I was upset there? Guys who've already gotten the CNC several times who show up and act like, yeah, but there's no problem. No, blah, blah, blah. You see, it's weird, though.
Maybe it's to be in the right circles. Maybe to be in the right circles?
I make money, but you could go even more mainstream. Thibaut InShape didn't get government money for his Navy videos, right? Don't treat me like a fool. He doesn't do vlogs with Macron for pay. He does them for free.
They didn't, because if they had, it would say sponsored. There are already videos sponsored by the government. Hugo Decrypt often makes such videos. Well, for certain ministries, that's true, Hugo.
You're a bit shy? And it's written.
If you want, it's set... no, but what is it? It's written, video sponsored by such and such. Yeah.
Yeah.
If it's sponsored by the ministry or government...
That's why I've already made videos for France TV.
You were also on Radio France.
I didn't pay you. I've already done sponsored work and written for France Télé. I'm a sellout.
But I mean, it exists. Product placements it was occasional. Ministries, it exists. It's always existed. It's been said. It's true that here.
I'm a bit late.
Yeah, I don't see why you want me.
I'm convinced there are funds. There's the CNC and probably other funds we're unaware of, like McKinsey and all that.
It suited them well to have Macron.
But even me, if I were in their place, I would have made the video too, you know?
Of course.
They made it. The video is so profitable.
You know what I mean?
But making the COVID song, they did that for free. Well,
I don't know.
I think he's pressuring people saying they'll do this for us or else a tax audit.
Maybe afterwards, yeah. Maybe there's nothing, then it's not a tax audit. Who's out of breath? No, but no problem.
And a tax audit.
Did you tell the production company? No, thanks.
See, cut to bucket.
And no, but that's it.
Anyway, all that, for me, the CNC talent, for me. For me, that's my opinion.
It's CNC talent then?
Doesn't need to exist. There you go.
In any case, if it does exist, it should really be reserved for creators who are truly emerging and who really need it.
Less than 10,000?
No one needs it.
Less than 10,000 or not a million, you know. Not people who have money. You have one?
Yeah, no, already.
More. We need to give help. We need to give aid to...
Those who help, because help...
There is legitimate help everywhere in France. You help people who need to be helped. You don't help people who don't need to be helped. Why a need for... because that's the point of help. To give help. It's to create wealth. All right? That's not true in the cultural sector. It's just to do...
to allow projects that...
To allow projects...
And you see, you didn't lose any money because of things like rent conditions.
To avoid the same things repeating. I'm not saying I agree, but it's to prevent that. Yes, that's well said.
No, but I know.
I'm just saying it's to avoid always having the same thing. To have investors and to only have investors, either foreign or always the same ones, in cinema and even on YouTube. One day you can have Blast. Blast was bought by who? I don't know. No, it's Brute. Brute was bought by a billionaire.
Yeah, he's here. No, I mean, yes, but what's the point?
It could be that it's to prevent all the channels from being affected by one person's vision.
All right.
Certainly.
It's press aid.
Yes, but it could also be... Right now, we don't have an example of a YouTube channel, but tomorrow, Hugo Decrypt could get bought out.
But he was before... no, I don't know. It's crazy.
You never know. Yeah, anyway, maybe my point is a bit unclear. But we're here to allow for plurality. That's it.
But that's not the point.
You have to imagine that you shouldn't always think of the private sector every time, because you shouldn't only think about the private sector. The public sector isn't just there to provide healthcare, education, and well...
Personally, I think honestly it should only be that.
Maybe I'm wrong, but for me it's not that simple. The state isn't just there to manage that. Maybe we need a reform of the audiovisual sector. Some people are even talking about getting rid of France televisions. I don't really know about that.
France Television can be done for less money.
Yes, but that's true. Yes, but no, but it's true. That's true. That's true. We need to stop with the that's true. You don't have to pay $1 million to people who have Bolloré.
When he did it, he went through with it. For me, Canal isn't that expensive, so yes.
That's true. No, that's absolutely true. That's, on the other hand,
That's not normal, huh?
it's crap. Yeah.
It bothers me. That's what bothers me. If it's really a private fund, I don't give a damn. It's not my problem, you know?
It's not your opinion either. Yes.
It is.
It's not your opinion. Well,
I'll pay at the movies since part of my ticket funds this.
you hardly ever go to the movies.
I've seen many movies. Are you serious? Yes.
That's true, but that's what hurts me. Yes. They say, yes, it's made with my money. I say, hey, most of you pirate your shows and movies, and you don't have the...
If we don't want to pay, we pirate.
No, but what I mean is, it's not your VT that pays for this, you see? No, it's not your VAT, it's not your local taxes, it's not your income tax.
But then, for me, once again, there's that, and then there's the principle of why is there a caste that exists that just gives money to each other,
I agree.
and who never have to answer to anyone.
And who then go and lecture others about morals.
And those who lecture about morals. Sorry, Usul, I like you, but if you take public money, you should stay quiet.
Plus people who double dip.
Some receive both CNC and press subsidies, but it should be one or the other.
But I think that changed too, you know? That changed. All the press stuff, the press can't receive anymore. Well,
So much the better.
not anything related to current affairs.
News, yeah. It's clearly biased, so 3/4 of people.
Actually, the news is too much. It needs to have a cultural aspect behind it. The news lacks a cultural aspect.
Well, no, it's just news.
It's the news. So it's not cultural. So it has to be artistic, cultural, entertainment. The news doesn't belong here, and they usually have press support. And that's great for journalists, all that stuff. Guys, once again, that's different.
Sorry, but if your newspaper isn't doing well, it's because nobody reads it. We don't care.
I'm not sure. Yes, well, thank you. I'm not sure.
Have your Independence Days and start a YouTube channel, but stop being a pain. Seriously, nobody buys this crap. Who knows how much tax money goes into it?
There, yeah.
Why should we fund that for the plurality of opinions? I mean, just make a Twitter account, right? But who actually buys newspapers these days? So,
You know, it's a lifestyle. I have a newspaper. I run the news website.
a news site that's not working. I'm just kidding.
I buy the little daily newspaper for my daughter.
If I see an article, even a paid one, I just ask, can you summarize it for me? I don't want to listen to that. By the way,
I read an article today. What's that? It's an article about the bus I was telling you about in Bangladesh. The article about the bus in Bangladesh wasn't by a journalist. Nothing. It was written underneath. It said this article was written by Ignace, yeah, and validated by a journalist.
so that's why should our taxes fund the press? I don't agree with that.
That's another debate.
Personally, I think it's just another transfer of wealth.
That's another debate.
They're not controlled by... Also, 3/4 of newspapers are owned by billionaires who don't need the money. But yes,
There are some, though. That's true. That's here.
they were definitely talking about us.
Yeah, that's true.
That's out.
That's true. But you also have to, you agree you still need or maybe you don't think you need, when you have a bias, is obviously biased.
But if you rely on subsidies, aren't you also biased? Yes.
You're biased, but we can see it with the,
You're stupid everywhere. No, for me, the only objective thing is the public. If the public buys your newspaper exists.
that's not true. That's not true. That's not true. That's impossible.
If your information is good quality,
This is not possible.
your editorial line is excellent. Why wouldn't people buy your newspaper?
You can't reduce everything to the private sector.
I mean,
I said sum up because, yes, everything is private. If we subsidize nothing, we can't deprive you of anything. If I say I give,
let's say I give 20 million a year to a newspaper. Yeah. Its sales still plummet. Yeah. I wasted 20 million, we agree. Yeah. We don't care about plurality. It's just plurality.
it's because it's nice. Tomorrow, there's another big crisis. Yeah. Everything falls apart. Everything falls apart. Yeah. It'll be those who don't ask for help or those who don't want help and who say, like, who are going to ask, can I get some help? Because everything's falling apart. So actually, you can't ask when it's not understood. Imagine you never want help. And someone who never asks for help and says it will only be the private sector, only the private sector that has to finance everything. Yeah, something like that. Tomorrow, there's a big problem. The private sector crashes because there's a crisis, like in 2008 or something like that. There are private companies that go under. Yeah, the private sector can't cope anymore. Who are you going to ask for help from? Well, the government. To the government, yeah. But then, at some point, you have to know the public shouldn't fund anything. It's the public that decides.
Yeah, but there's a difference.
Well, no,
No, you're trying to save a factory in your area.
I'm not talking about factories. What are you talking about? Me, I'm talking about the media. I'm talking about things. I'm talking about things that are not really. I'm talking about non-essential things.
Me.
Non-essential, yeah.
That's why the press is essential.
Well, then it's essential.
Nowadays, who actually gets their information anywhere other than Twitter, honestly?
But there are a lot of...
People who do, like the old boomers.
That's the problem. It's that you get your information from Twitter. And since you get your information from Twitter, your Twitter feed is only linked to what you look at. That's why Ludovic has never seen the CNC and only sees stuff about Naruto and One Piece.
So how, no, but, I get it, but how? I'm just asking myself the question. Maybe I'm talking nonsense and I'm ready to change my mind, but explain to me how, objectively, giving 20 million to a newspaper will make me get my information anywhere other than Twitter. Just explain it to me. Explain the causal link to me. I don't understand. You want to see them? Thanks. I'm letting you. You see what I mean? What's the point of funding a left-wing newspaper just because it exists? Yeah. It's useless if nobody watches the thing.
But there are people who watch. You can't say there's nobody. There just aren't enough.
It's not enough.
You just dreamed for a second. Fucking bastard.
Why do I have to pay for something I don't use? Yes, I agree. Me, paying for hospitals, schools, the army, the police, that's fine. But for a fucking shitty newspaper. Not even just one newspaper, lots of newspapers.
That'll be a debate. That'll be another debate.
Explain to me why there's plurality. I don't give a damn about plurality. What's going on there? You make several newspapers, and the one that people buy and read, well, it works. Yeah.
I don't know. It's not that simple. Why? It's not that simple. Imagine there's just one guy who buys all the newspapers.
You create a law to ban monopolies which already exists. It's better than buying it every day.
No, it exists.
You're not allowed to have a monopoly.
In the newspapers, it exists.
Well, you have it everywhere.
It exists in televised media. I don't think you need 6 channels. For digital terrestrial TV, anyway. For digital terrestrial TV, yeah. For digital terrestrial TV, you don't need more than 6 channels. But I don't know if for newspapers,
You make a state newspaper and that's it. It's done. We're in China and that's it.
That's all.
I don't see why we should give public money to newspapers that nobody reads. I mean, where's the added value? Just to take crappy AFP news reports.
That, on the other hand, is true.
Stupid articles.
You see that it's right there. There really is something you can blame. Something you can blame on the newspapers. On the other hand, it's the lack of... Well, you see an article from someone else, Telegram, West France, Le Parisien, or Le Figaro. The article is the same. And it says, source AFP, and then that's it. Everyone took their AFP thing. Hugo Decrypt, that's it too. It's AFP, even if he does things a bit more yes, on the big formats. It's AFP Newswires, so he includes the sources. But it's true that there are a lot of newspapers that just use AFP Newswires.
Well, there you go.
That's why some things fall apart. West France, did you see their thing? Shit, that's France for you. A bit of a mess because of their crappy channel. It's crap that nobody really, well...
A shitty one. Who even watched it? I don't even remember what the channel is called.
It's Novo 19. Does anyone want to turn on the new 19? But I...
Honestly, no kidding. It's been 5 years since I turned on the TV.
There are worse things. There's Télédessert. Télédessert, it's the new channel on 17. Okay. Télédessert, channel 17.
Is it subsidized? Like Novo 19 West France definitely will be.
West France is subsidized. So they don't have the channel. The channel, it's the opposite. It's the channel. They have to give money. They have to pay for the concession. Yeah. For terrestrial TV, because it's public. Terrestrial TV belongs to the state. Okay? I mean, it's public property. And so every year you pay a concession fee to the state to be on terrestrial TV. So they pay millions. It's millions. It's several millions they have to pay. And actually, they can't keep up anymore because the channel doesn't bring in anything.
That's it, since people don't watch. Because I'm sorry.
That the advertising business model isn't good enough. Well,
because it's my business.
Nobody's watching, and at the same time, that's another topic, but the model of audience measurement.
You control them.
It's totally stupid. I mean, it's lame. Yeah, definitely. It's totally lame. You have a box at home, and compared to, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 people who have a box at home in France, and it's based on what they switch to. Well, they take a percentage of that to say it makes 50 million, yeah?
It's kind of bogus, but then they also count replays and stuff.
So probably, yeah, but replays are maybe easier to track. So yeah, it's like, yes. So that's another debate that...
The government should subsidize the media, whatever they are. I can understand the reasoning behind it, but I'm against it.
Let's try to avoid ending up like before. Go ahead. Before, it was the ORTF.
Yeah, that was the government.
It was the government, yes. Yes, it was the government, but as a result, there was censorship. There was only censorship. You couldn't say everything you wanted. Yes.
But it's private. You don't have that. What do you mean?
You don't have that. There's no censorship. Well...
Yes, you have some, but the issues vary by channel. Who is it? I don't understand.
I'm not sure the view is that simple.
For me, the state is as corrupt as the private sector, but the difference is the state uses my money. I don't care what the private sector does with your own cash. If you want to censor your stuff or shape the information, that's your choice. It's then up to me to decide if I follow it.
Yeah, I see. But it's a debate. It's a debate. What do you think about this debate? Same thing.
Totally agree.
No, I mean, sorry.
For my comment on Naruto and One Piece. No,
I'm not bothering you.
No, but me, I'm ready to change my mind, you know. I don't see it.
I want to say this myself instead of you seeing rumors on Twitter.
Well,
Are you sure? If I take the class, that's what I want. I don't know. I don't need this. You pay Twitter.
You, not Twitter. Sorry, that has nothing to do with it. But they're annoying with their new thing, Meta, with their new ad. You know, it's either you pay €8 a month, you don't get ads anymore, and now they block you. Your feed, it gets blocked by an ad. That means in 5 seconds it's fine. It starts again. What are they on Instagram?
yeah, there's that.
It's horrible.
As a private individual, you can choose a different platform that operates differently.
Well, Meta, Facebook, Instagram, that's how it is. Well,
You pay?
This is,
Ask the government to subsidize you.
it's not possible.
It's not my move. It's on my hand.
I have quite a few people close to me who have that, yeah.
You don't have that. You pay.
I paid again.
You don't have it yet. No, like soon you'll have it, I think.
You either pay or lose scrolling access.
You can't scroll anymore. It stops at some point. But at the same time,
We can't have a free web forever, right? One way or another, you have to pay.
they already do a bit of everything. Exactly.
Do we really do that much? Because the metaverse, that got thrown in the trash. They blew, I don't know how many billions of...
I almost bought a headset too.
Yeah, well, I saw you...
Well, the headset is still useful, but yeah, but for movies,
For things like the Apple Vision, people talked about it for a month, and now they're making reviews on YouTube, and then that's it. What's the name of this?
TV app, yeah, that's true.
Nobody cares. Those things work fine.
So a little bit,
Not much on it, though.
honestly, it must be good,
Right? I'm not sure.
right? Yes, with a Meta headset.
Well, what's going on? You're just there.
You haven't tried it with a headset, have you? No, but I had a VR headset before.
It wasn't a dream you had. No.
It was, you put your phone in it, and that's how it worked.
But with videos, we checked quickly. It was lame. You feel like you...
That was back in the day. You have a giant G9 on you, but it's honestly lame. I've never tried the real ones.
The new, authentic ones. Still, if it's gotten totally lame...
How do you know about it? Tell us in the comments.
There you go. Anyway, you shouldn't do too much of that.
How long have we been here? At the same time?
We're here. It's his job. Are you for or against CNC Talent? Yes. Go ahead. Finish your sentence. Come on, it's fine.
Why, you in the middle of a sentence?
It's not a big deal. So, where were we? But are you for or against CNC Talent? Because there are several questions after that. The legitimacy of its existence, how to help and send it, and how it's controlled, and should it?
Should there be a maximum number of subscribers, or at least a revenue cap?
And again, you'd better have a good reason for it.
Anyway, or wouldn't it be an opportunity to use these funds to create support platforms for people who want to break out on YouTube? Not by giving money, but advice, tips.
You see what I mean? Buy my course. Succeed.
No, but for example, training courses made by this fund, which allow people to either pay or not pay, but to help people. Actually, it's more about training someone to become rather than paying for them to try to train themselves.
But you figure it out yourself, right? I don't know. I'm still having a hard time. You want to do training to become a veterinarian, a nurse, something useful, but not a YouTuber.
Freddy, I agree.
I don't know. Stop it. No, I'm not saying you have to do it. Yes, I'm saying help people on a one-off basis instead of giving money for things that don't get views.
You see?
And that don't bring in anything. Why not help people who have the potential to succeed with the idea that it gets views, it makes money, it brings in income?
It exists in cinema. You hold competitions at festivals.
You set that up and it brings in income. Because that's always the goal, normally. Yes. To finance so that it brings in income.
Yes. Yes.
Anyway, there you go.
Anyway, I'm thinking to myself, but all this crap, and there you go. Anyway, let us know in the comments. And there you go.